to general in case anybody cares. In case we have one more viewer than last time.
I don't even. Has anyone been watching these?
Not really. Seizoxu has been there for both of them, at the start at least. And Nordov has also been there at the end of Sharp's interview.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be pulling any crowds.
I mean, for the first stream, I sent a link into Osakai server, but we didn't really have any people joining from that. I think this is not that interesting for people who don't know these players.
Yeah, I mean,
We're pretty much just known within our own community, but that's it.
yeah, I'm sure there's a little bit of an island there, but who knows? Maybe it'll be kind of like the happy stick interviews where down the line, if someone is really curious about either getting into the play style or maybe improving their methods within the play style, they can kind of go back and reference these videos. 'Cause you kind
Yeah,
of have a diversity of the players. You have aim player, you have kind of like an all rounder, you have a stamina stream player, you have a speed player. Kind of have the whole mix.
yeah, that's true. Now we just need to get Doorknob too, so we have a tech player.
Oh man, Doorknob's takes, I'm sure would be wild.
I mean, we're gonna push the Nerd of interview to next week anyway because today ain't happening.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
And maybe we'll ask Dawn up too. Would be interesting. I mean, there are also easy players, but I don't think that easy is very much different than just aim on mouse only. It's mostly then just talking about the reading aspect, and that's not exclusive to this playstyle.
That I will say, Easy does kind of have like weirdly disproportionate amount of mouse only player, or rather, mouse only has a disproportionate amount of easy players. Because I mean, if you think about
Yeah,
it, mouse only takes up maybe 0.1% of the player base, maybe. If you
maybe.
if you take out all of the, you know, 7 digits that haven't actually picked the playstyle yet, they just are playing mouse only for now. You probably have a 0.05%, something like that. And so for there to be so many easy players within mouse only, I think it's kind of in part due to it
Reviclia
lessening the.
I thought you meant
Well,
Reviclia existing.
well, Reviclia for sure in some part, but I do think also the fact that it reduces the aim requirement to some degree and puts it more on the mind,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
it reduces physical strain for mental strain, and yeah, so I think that that kind of plays a part of
You
it
you
as
don't
well.
really have to conquer how calmly you aim. So you can just aim and be very shaky with your aim and still hit the notes and still be on time. Also, you have
Yeah,
a like OD helps a lot.
for sure.
High OD on mouse is so much harder than
Hard.
keyboard.
I don't know about that. I mean,
I mean,
it's
you've
just
you've
different.
you've just mastered it. But
Well,
also there's some players like Master C2 who he sniped Silva on that one very weird old map that's weird to hit. What's it called again? Master
oh, I don't know.
C2 looking at their r- first places. Uh, uh, it's the DJ pop map where it's overdrive or overdrive. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
know which one you're talking about, but I do not know the name.
Kanbu de Todomase, whatever.
Yeah.
That's an example of a mouse only player being extremely good at egg, but I don't think that's the norm in any way.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with mouse is, feedback on clicking is just different than keyboard. So especially if you come from keyboard playing in any capacity, you kind of have a bit of a learning curve with trying to get down how to react to the feedback on your fingers and also, you know, keep your mouse still.
Yeah, there are
So,
different parts to it, for sure.
yeah.
Okay. Let's actually start the interview. Okay.
Right.
Hello, every -1 person that is watching right now. Um, today, our last guest for today's interviews is gonna be Mr. SolaEclipse. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm SolaEclipse. Everyone just calls me Sola. I've been a mouse only player since 2016, towards the end of 2016. When I first started, I was of course, I started the same way everyone else did. I was mouse only for a bit, then went to mouse and keyboard, and then eventually got a tablet. Played tablet for a bit, and then I was inspired to switch back to mouse only after kind of experimenting with a bunch of different play styles. Um, and I kind of stuck with mouse only, grinded it out, managed to find the mouse only community through a character named Mouse Lee. And yeah, they brought me to the mouse only community, and from there I just kind of popped off and grew.
And also, we're gonna get into this a bit later, but there's one special thing about Solar that Solar can literally just play with both of his hands, like separately. He can play mouse only with the left hand and his right hand, which is just crazy to me still.
Well, yeah, so I was born left-handed, right? And when you use a computer like in a public place or even my home computer, my family's right-handed. Um, like the mouse is always on the right side, but I have sometimes when I got a personal computer, I started using my left hand for mouse. Well, I would go back and forth because it's, kind of just if there's a wired mouse especially and it's already on the right side, there's no reason to move it over because I can use my right hand perfectly fine. So when it came to Osu, I had already the kind of the tapping experience on my left hand because I did play mouse and keyboard, and then tablet and keyboard for a while there. Um, so I can't remember what time, but when I really started to be serious about it, but there was a multi I did with a friend of mine, and I was using my left hand at the time. I can't remember if I'd like strained my right hand or something, but I was using my left hand at the time, and I actually managed to do way better than I expected to. So I just started playing left-handed a bunch, and since I already had the kind of speed and stamina on my left hand from either playing Taiko Mania or just Osu with keyboard, it was a lot more natural than I expected it to be, and just kind of went like that.
Such an interesting story. It's just unreal. Most people can't even play mouse only, and you can just do it with both hands. But I guess that's just how it turned out for you.
I've really wanted to at some point try doing like dual mouse and then switching the hands that I'm using mid song.
Oh,
Like I feel like that'd be such an interesting like play, but it's
it's like juggling.
it is a lot harder. Even like it's a lot harder than you think even as someone who can play with both hands. Having to not move both hands at the same time. Oh my gosh. That's a mental nightmare for sure.
Yeah, I wonder how that would work out. Okay, you said that you switched to mouse only in 2000 around 2016, and that's another
Yes.
interesting fact. The other two people we had joined today were both players who joined the game in 2017 and like 2018 or 19, I think. So
Mhm.
you're a bit of an old one in the community. Um, so what was it like being a mouse only player in the in the older days? Was there anything different about the community, or has it basically
Uh
been the same since?
the community hasn't, I mean, I think with the tastes of like the modern community of Osu in general, it's kind of changed. back when I played, I would say, and I don't mean this like in a derogatory way, but there was a lot more like consistency type players, long form stamina type players, and now I think you see a lot more aim focused players, um, speed players. Obviously there's been speed players and aim players and like obviously Reviclia, Josu, Oitan, just to name a couple of that group that have been like that for forever. But when I played, there was Gassan, who he was just known for you give him something and he can do it well. It doesn't matter what it is. There's Gisirianko, which he was more of a meta DT farmer, but he had some really ridiculous long plays. Um, then of course you have Senji, Breeze, Pianta, a lot of just kind of I would say slower paced consistency players. And I don't think there's quite as many of those now. You still have, of course, Shower Piss. Spread Nuts can just about do anything in that regard. And then Doorknob, kind of, but really, you look at a lot of the players nowadays, Nerd Off, Kame, Tony 2, Young Minas as well. Like, their aim and their speed is just another level from what it used to be as mouse only community for sure. So that's really the main difference I see, but I can draw parallels between old players and new players, all day. And as far as the community goes, there's still a lot of old heads that have been around since like 2014. So I think getting new players is of course important for community growth. Um, you know, Old players are eventually going to stop playing and they're going to leave. And if there's not kind of new people to come in and challenge the limits that the legacy players have set, then you're not going to ever grow as a community. And that's
We
important for mouse only.
we need to hand down the torch to some newer players, or
Yeah,
at
for
least
sure.
you. I fall into this category of new players. Know like half the names you mentioned. I I've only started playing Ursu like 4 years ago, or like 3 years
Yeah,
ago.
it is kind of funny to me. Whenever I first started joining the mouse only community, I was like really obsessed with competing with the legacy players. So like I'd look back at Change, uh, Shizuru, Pianta, Sawagani, Azrar, and try to best those kinds of scores. And of course, I had a pretty big rivalry with Senji because we were very, very similar in skill and playstyle. Um, but it's funny to see that like nowadays the modern group is competing with the players that were active when I was playing rather than the players that I considered legacy. So it is
Yeah,
funny to me, but
you are the legacy now.
yeah,
Everybody looking at your honesty play that I
man.
didn't know for the longest time. I don't know. I wasn't aware that this community existed. We are kind of bad at advertising ourselves. Getting
Yeah. Well, I think the thing with mouse only, I think we're kind of okay with not advertising. So we've had many different recruitment campaigns, and I've been a part of recruiting me, Dorp, Coco, Red King. There may be a couple others I'm missing. We actively tried to kind of seek out mouse only players and bring them in, but one of the things with mouse only is you get a lot of people who, 6 digit, 7 digit, maybe even high or low 5 digit, and they're like, "Oh, I'm a mouse only player." But they've only been playing for like a month, and it's generally speaking, a lot of those players tend to change pretty soon after that, or they just quit playing in general. And I think, part of the mouse only community is trying to curate a little bit towards the committed mouse only group. Now, if we don't want to be exclusionary to the point where it's like, yeah, you're playing mouse only, but you're not good enough. Obviously, we don't want that. But um, you know, if we have this active advertising, I think you'd find a lot more um, people who really aren't mouse only that just are mouse only at the beginning because that's what they know to play. If that makes sense.
Yeah, especially since the OSU tutorial, that's probably the first map people play in general, is where
Yeah,
Pushyfed
not me.
tells you to click with the mouse on the time. And most people
Yeah.
think, yeah, you click circles like the opening sequence is saying. You have to click, obviously. So basically, everybody that starts playing starts out with mouse, and I think
My
it's
first,
fair to not include everyone then in this community.
yeah, yeah. My first map was actually Hollowings' Nanatsu Isazakura because it had a difficulty called beginner, and I said, I'm a beginner.
No, I started off with the Pidgeot tutorial. I still have to replay. Gonna use that in the FAQ video when I introduce mouse only.
Nice.
But yeah,
Excuse me.
you talked about the changes with uh, it being more speed and jump focused. But as you already said, I believe that's just in the OC community as a whole.
Yeah.
Like you don't see consistency as often anymore,
Yeah,
probably
well, I
due
mean, when
to
I
Sotax and stuff, and just wanting to see your PP rise.
Well, I mean, just when I was active, 2017, 2018, the community as a whole was also consistency focused. I mean, the top players were like Idke. What's Idke known for? Not speed. He's known for 5 minute marathon stream maps.
5 minute?
Uh,
No, 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 no,
you
no.
know,
10 minutes.
yeah, yeah. Like so, you got, of course, you still had your DT players. You had your Mathy. You had
Raffles.
your FG Sky, Rafis, of course. But see, Rafis has always been different as a DT player. He has been a consistency player disguised as a DT player.
Yeah, that's true. A
He's
lot of his
always
scores are like best friends 3 mod or something. Best friends is not
yeah
a short map.
yeah. I mean, take Necrophantasia DTHD. Like that
Yeah.
was, you know what I mean. He's definitely, I think, a lot of the consistency played back then, because that was kind of the 99 era in my eyes. Like you were getting 98 or 99% to get good PP on stuff. Nowadays, I think I see a lot more that's like, you know, 92%, 1100 PP. You know,
I mean, 92 is still impressive if it's OD 11. But if it's OD 10, not that much.
yeah. Well, and I'm not here to say whether or not it is or isn't impressive. I'm just saying like you just didn't see that same thing back then. If someone was playing OD11, it was usually like Emperor Penguin doing a 4.5 to 5 star 4 mod, and it was gonna take the top leaderboard, or 3 mod. Usually, he didn't 4 mod that often, but yeah, like
Yeah.
it was just a different landscape, and I think the mouse only community is kind of reflected that in a much smaller scale.
Yeah, but probably also in a bigger scale since mouse only just lends itself to that kind of play more. At
Yeah,
least I
for sure.
think so.
Well, ironically, I'm terrible at
DT aim.
terrible at jumps. I am awful at DT. Ironically, the only DT score I have in my top ranks that I can think of is a what do you call it? Seihate no Kotoba, which is like a 5 minute map.
But yeah, saying awful is also not that. Saying awful, like awful, is a not great term because you're still pretty good at them, just not that good at them when you compare to your stream skill or compared to
Oh,
the crazy top
I'm.
players.
I mean, I'm even compared to other mouse onlys. I get blown out of the water on DT scores, man. I get like C ranks on Quaver DT, and I know there are people in the community that could probably assess that. I'm just, I'm okay with not being that good at DT. I've found my niche in hard rock and low or high CS, whatever you want to call it. Um, Small
Small
circles
circles.
and yeah.
Yeah.
And of course the streams.
And how do you feel about like seeing all of these Zuma players like Kimei just rising to the top quickly? Is it like just like handing down the torch to the new generation of players, or is it a bit sad seeing that you will probably not be at the top of mouse only ever or in the near future? How do you think about
I
it?
no, I'm totally cool with, and like I said, a community will die if there's not new blood. You know what I mean? When you have when you have people that are at the top forever, um, you can look at speedrunning. Speedrunning's the same way. When you have someone set a world record that's like doesn't get beat for years, it game goes super dead until somebody beats it. And
Yeah.
then once somebody beats that record, it pops off. Like you need fresh blood. You need that cycle of getting better and better and better. So I'm totally okay with that. And I, I fully support anyone going back and destroying my old scores. Obviously, you know, there's a bit of an ego shatter when people can duplicate your scores that you thought were like, "Hey, I'm gonna be the best," or "I'm going to be the only person who could do streams." And then you have people like Sinji, Rogo, Breeze, Shower Piss that can just do what you do, and you're like, "Man, I guess I wasn't really as good as I thought." You
Yeah.
know, it
I
does kind of hurt, but at the same time, it's like I was in a unique position. Honesty was the world record for like 3 years, dude, or something like that.
oh damn.
So I had well more than my time in the sunlight. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if anything, I'm not upset at anyone for beating me. I'm upset at the PP rework system for taking kind of and I won't say like ruining my legacy almost, but that sounds so it's not that big of a deal. But like that was my first 600 PP, and it's not 600 anymore. And I think that kind of diminishes the value of PP when you just rework it all the time, and you can just say, yeah, actually that play that you worked really hard on and was like this shattering record, yeah, that's not a thing anymore. It does kind of hurt, but again, that's not a fault of any other than mouse onlys. That's problems I have with like Zexar and the PP rework system. But that's kind of what you when you play a live service game, which is what Osu essentially is. Um,
Stuff like that's
you
just gonna happen.
yeah, you understand that that's going to happen. You when you play a gotcha game, obviously there's going to be a day when you're not even going to be able to access the game itself. I'm lucky enough that Osu, as long as I don't accidentally explode my computer and then all the files go off the internet, like I can play Osu whenever I want, however I want, and I'll be able to do that for the rest of my life as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I
So,
would still play also if the servers went down and stuff. I would just play
yeah,
offline for the rest of my life. This game is just too fun.
70-year-olds playing Osu is
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you,
yeah, for sure. But
for
yeah, no,
sure.
I totally think new blood is good
Really,
for
really good for
healthy
the
for a
community.
community.
Yeah, really healthy for the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
That's a nice take on it. But also, yeah, seeing some people in the community be so good as they are can really be crushing. When I first joined the community, I went from basically knowing no mouse only player and thinking, damn, I'm really good at jumps, damn, I'm really good at streams, and then I saw just stuff that you did on the server, and I lost my mind. My ego
I
was shattered, but ultimately it helped me because it's really inspiring to
Yeah,
see
I will
everything.
say the greatest thing that ever helped me was competition and rivalry. obviously not everyone is geared towards that kind of mindset, especially if you're not someone who's like, I got to be the best. You're just like, I want to have fun, which is totally a valid way to play the game. In fact, I would argue it's way healthier for the for your mind. But if you're a competitive person, one of the things that helps that is if you see something that's too far out of reach, like obviously I couldn't when I first came in the community, I was not going to be challenging Gasan or Gisirianko. Like I wasn't. But when I first came in, I was at a similar level to Senji. And when I improved, he improved. And when he improved, I improved. And so we had this rivalry that allowed both of us to, I think, get a lot better because we had to be better than the other one. We didn't have to be Reviclia. We didn't have to be Cookie Z. We didn't have to be the greatest. We just had to be better than the other one. And that improved both of us dramatically, I think. Even
Yeah.
if Senji won't admit that he had a rivalry with me.
Oh no. One-sided love. But that's interestingly enough one of the things Young Venus mentioned in his interview. When he joined the community, he was competing with, I believe it was Sound Boomer, and
Yeah.
they pushed themselves way up. And he said that rivalry is extremely important, or is extremely helpful, but also enjoying game. Without enjoying game, playing this game is not useful. Doesn't help you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I kind of got wrapped up a bit into the super competitive side of things for a while there. And that kind of lended towards me quitting when my mouse broke. Um, because when I came back to the game, I was so rusty. I had a new mouse, all this, and it was like I can't compete at the level I was at, and that kind of soiled my motivation.
Was it before you were playing with both hands, or after, or like during it?
This was uh what like February of 2019 that my mouse broke. The last play I ever did was Saihate no Kotoba, which I believe was with my right hand. I hadn't like fully committed to playing left-handed. I would go back and forth. Pretty much from the mid not the middle of 2018, but close to it. I would play left-handed when I like if my right hand was tired or I didn't want to move my mouse over, kind of. That was
Because
just hit or miss, you know.
I remember a few months ago seeing your play on what's it? H du Black Blank Pur whatever.
Ange de Blancpour, yeah.
Yeah, I can't French. The Camellia map basically, not Camellia. Nanahira map.
Yeah,
You have a score on it, and didn't you set that score after being rusty for a while and then coming back to the game left-handed?
yeah. Well, no, that
But that
wasn't from
wasn't.
any rust. That was still during my kind
Ah,
of
okay,
that was still during my
gotcha.
my peak era. But
peak
I did play that
peak
left-handed.
performance.
No, unironically, I quit right at my peak, which is kind of sad, but I got Honesty, Ange de Blancpour, Saihate no Kotoba. Um, what other scores did I get in that era? Like right before I broke. Um, I don't know. I got a lot of significant plays for me right before that. Right before that happened. Um, can't remember everything off the top of my head. I know I was popping off on the aim side too, with like from undercover,
Oh
but
yeah.
yeah. I think I also did Santa San 2 mod.
What is too much? DT hidden?
Hidden Hard Rock.
Hidden hard rock. Ah.
Yeah.
Never heard
Yeah, no.
anyone call it two mod. Two mod could literally be anything.
Well, I've always called Hidden Hard Rock 2 mod.
Maybe that's an old player thing. I
Maybe.
I've never heard that. Um, since you talked about your peak performance, I think it makes more sense to skip a bit through the script I have here
Hmm.
because today we learned. Actually, let me pull up the grip from the other two players. We have Shower Piss grip and we have Young Venus grip. Are you watching the stream? Or do I have to like screen share?
Oh, I'm not. Give me a moment. I can pull up the stream. Is it on Mouse City?
Yep. Should be at least. Yeah, it is. Oh, Rue thinks your voice is so sexy.
Oh,
With a kappa added, but I don't think that kappa is honest.
okay. I appreciate. All right. I'm pulled up.
Okay, do you see these two grips? Young Venus and Shower Piss?
Yeah.
Today we learned that this is what peak performance looks like. Like the very curled fingers, basically
Yeah.
emulating how you would have them on a keyboard. And then
Yeah.
aim players have it further back on their mouse, and stream players have it further in the front. And looking at, wait, where's it? No, did I think I closed the tab. Looking at you, if that's accurate in any shape, way, or form, you have the fingers at the front too, but you don't have the extremely arched, extremely curled fingers. Anything you have to
Oh.
say about grip?
Um. I mean, as far as grip goes, I will tell you this. This is the greatest tip that I could possibly give, honestly. Um, the grip that you go with needs to be comfortable at the mid range. So what that means is when you're playing stuff that for your skill level should be pretty comfortable, your hand needs to be comfortable. If you're getting sore, if your wrist hurts a little bit, if you feel a little uncomfortable, that grip is likely not the the best for you. So if you're like you're like, oh, this player's really good. I need to have his grip to play these kinds of maps well. On like full stop, having that comfort at the mid range is way more important. Obviously, if you are playing your top range, your grip is either A, going to be a little uncomfortable, or B, your fatigue is going to set in and it's going to feel uncomfortable. So that's obviously not going to be as telling of a sign. But yeah, you really need a comfortable grip. Otherwise, you're not going to be very successful.
Yeah, that's what the other two also said. Like they didn't really think actively about their grip, except
Yeah.
Sharpest really actively thinks about his grip. But he said that you're probably fine with just playing a grip that's comfortable, but he also strongly believes in refining your technique and grip. Do you have anything to say on that? Is like, are there any changes you actively made to your grip, or anything that changed through playing streams more? Or has it
So,
always just been this?
um, to kind of bounce off Shower Piss's point, um, hilarious name to say out loud, by the way. Um,
do you know the origin
it,
story? I got to ask him today.
I don't know the origin story, but I'm sure I could figure it out. um, with grip refinement, it kind of comes down to at least what it did for me. When I first came over to mouse only, as like I was serious about it, I was terrible at streams because I would shake, and I think that's one of the biggest things that mouse only players struggle with, or people who aren't mouse only and look in and they try it out and they're like, how do you keep your thing stable, right?
Yeah.
What I did was I played a ton of these stream practice maps, be it like in a ruler's stream practice set, things like that. I grinded freedom dives, another diff, just a ton. Excuse me, a ton of stuff like that. But what I did was I played these maps and I tried to focus my hardest on staying in the middle of the circle that I was clicking at every like given point in time. Like always try to stay in the middle. Sometimes I'd play them with like halftime as well and just make sure the motion of my fingers was like smooth back and forth, not like like I'm striking the mouse button, but like my fingers are like a metronome where the up speed and the down speed need to be very, very similar. Um, and
Is
that kind of, I think, changes your grip a little bit because the more you do that, the more you settle into a, you when you try to do that sort of thing, you'll feel where you're uncomfortable in your grip and you'll adjust.
yeah. That totally makes sense. But it's not like you ever really thought about how you would change your grip while streaming. It's more like you kept on playing stream maps, realized that some spots are not that comfortable, and then you probably just moved around a little bit every time until you found something that you could just stick with, if I
Yeah.
understand you correctly.
Yeah. And I think another kind of part of that is you also need to find a way to be you also think every grip deals with mouse drift a little differently. So
Oh
like
yeah, for sure.
you have your regrip, right? And some grips like fingertip grip, you inch your fingers in a little bit and you just kind of use that. Generally speaking, fingertip grippers are probably really high DPI. Um, they just kind of inch in a little bit, or at least I did whenever I was trying it out. But um, palm grip is gonna probably be a different thing. So basically, I can't say how to correct mouse drift because it depends on so many factors: your DPI, your grip, you know, your mouse pad size. But like, you also need to find a way that you can correct and not be shaky or out of place.
Yep. Makes sense. Okay, where was I jumping from?
Dang, that fun orange gif is so real.
Yeah. I
I'm
was a
doing
bit
it right
scared.
now.
I was a bit scared to pull up Twitter because when I talked about it with Showerpiss, I also had to pull that up, but I was using a fresh new browser where I wasn't logged in anywhere, which was working well except for our challenge because challenge just had a lot of ads because I didn't have an
Yeah,
ad blocker. But I was very scared to open up Twitter on this browser because I'm just logged in. And I don't follow weird stuff on Twitter, but Twitter just likes giving me not safe for work stuff in my feed for no reason whatsoever. I don't know.
yeah, that
Maybe just following also player does the work. It's bad. So I was a bit scared pulling that up here.
yeah, I understand.
Okay. I don't know. Are you full alt? Are you single tapping?
I single tap.
You single tap. Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm a decent alt player. Not on doorknob type maps, but like what you would think of like Nomad 3 in tournaments.
Yeah.
So like just I guess
The
I guess they're just called alt maps, like PKK type stuff.
yeah PKK or what's the other guy that mapped Shredder, the talent Shredder?
Val.
Val, yeah. Val
Yeah.
or PKK style maps. You
Yeah.
just call them alt maps, but they're technically like just super slow stream maps that are really spaced, if you can call it that,
hmm
or like super
Well,
super
you know,
smooth jump maps. I don't know.
at some point it's like what map definition you got to
Yeah,
basically figure out that it's subcategories, I guess. I don't
yeah,
know. But
but
that's
it's
kind of what I
alt
don't
maps.
single
Yeah,
tap those. Anything that's like two above 260 BPM, I don't single tap. I usually
above.
alt tap,
Yeah, yeah.
which
Is
is
it
partially why I'm so bad at DT because alt jumps are very hard.
is it something that you regret doing, like starting out single tapping? Like, would you learn to full alt if it wasn't such a pain to learn, or if you were still more active as a player?
Um,
Or do you think
Probably
the
not, honestly. The maps that I play, and the maps that I enjoy playing lend themselves to single tap. Ironically, I would say the exact opposite for Taiko. My playstyle in Taiko is extremely cursed, and
monkey play style?
I I really wish I had learned full alt in Taiko.
Full alt in Taiko is very fun, but it's also a bit annoying to learn to get into.
Yeah, it's tremendously difficult,
I've
but
I've been learning to play Oni Sans for like a couple of months now. I can play 4-star Oni now. Getting into inner Oni will be another step though.
yeah, that's usually how it goes, man.
But Tiger has been fun. Oh yeah,
For sure.
actually talking about Tiger, there was a question that we got that I had in the survey as well. There was a question about whether you think that playing Osumas only helped you with other skills. But for this interview, I have the question: did playing Osu with both hands help you for Taiko? With finger control or finger speed or something?
Yeah, so do you have my answer from the form?
Oh no, I haven't looked through them yet because
Oh, okay.
I have uni stuff to do and I didn't want to get my mind cluttered with mouse only stuff.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, my answer in the forum was basically like, yeah, Taiko
Mania.
has I would say more Taiko than Mania. Mania's speed and like button combination is just so different
Yeah.
than standard is. Um but yeah, no, standard I would say probably helped me play Taiko. I mean, I've been playing Taiko since like 2015.
Oh damn.
So
I thought
it's,
you picked it up a bit later than that.
I mean, I wasn't serious about it until maybe 2020, right before I started joining tournaments. I just played it. I only played converts kind of off and on, but my play style is cross tap. So I press Dawn with my index finger on my right hand, and I press cat with my middle finger on my left hand. And I think that's because of the way that I played Osu Standard. I would start when I played with my left hand. I would still press left click with my
Oh,
instead of starting with my right click and then doing it
you're
like
just
that.
starting with M1 no matter what side M1 is on.
Yes. So that's kind of how I play Taiko. And in some parts, it's given me like some unique skills, and in other parts, it's made me really bad at some pretty easy stuff. But hey, you
that
know,
that just happens if you pick out a weird playstyle and then continue putting in. You only have
yeah.
100 hours in Taiko.
That's a little misleading. I play so much Score V2
Oh
and
right.
also offline.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you're way too good at Taiko for 100 hours. What are you doing, Magic Man?
Yeah. I do want to point out that I don't participate in tournaments that are below my skill level. I don't sandbag. Although my rank is very low, I only participate in high level tournaments.
Not a D
Those
ranker, just a
right,
non ranker.
exactly. I feel like that's important to say because people see that I have two tournaments from 3 years ago that were low rank, and they're like, "Oh my god, he's such a D ranker." I'm like, those were 3 years ago when I actually was that rank. But hey, it happens.
Okay, getting back on track with the questions. Um, did you think, how much did you think that mouse only as a playstyle hold you back? Like, do you think that switching back to keyboard would have made you play much better?
Uh, I don't know. So I was just a different player on keyboard. I was extremely good at aim, jumps, and DT, ironically, which was my weakest skill set on mouse. But um I don't know. I just, my I don't really think mouse only held me back. It was just different. Do I think, I mean, there's always the potential that I could have been a much better player on tablet, and I'm sure to some degree that might be true, but at the same time, tablet requires you to like actually set up your computer effectively for that. Like you got to move your desk around, got to set up your tablet, got to move your keyboard to be a comfortable position. Mouse only, you can just load up OSU and play. And I think that was kind of what contributed to me playing so much, was because it was so easy to just play. So I probably wouldn't have had near as many hours in OSU if I had played tablet.
Also, since you have been very competitive, do you think that like having more like how to phrase it? So when you look at playing a normal playstyle, being the best at the normal playstyle is basically impossible because you reaching Emmerich is just so far ahead. But when you play something like mouse only or click X or something, you can always strive for being the best at that skill set. Was that something that made you stick with the playstyle more?
Uh,
Like that the
I
competition
think
within
in
the playstyle might have been lower or like more reachable.
Well, I think the competition within the playstyle definitely contributed to my growth because, like I said, with the rivalry with Senji, it was a lot easier to have someone at my level that I could one up. And then when they one up me, I can go back and one up them again and just kind of go back and forth and climb the ladder kind of on the head of the other person. Um, the thing with like being the best, if you're going to come out and say, "Oh, I'm going to be the best mouse only player," if you're already at like number 5 mouse only, that makes sense to say something like that. That's a reachable goal. If you're new to the community, you're like, yeah, I'm going to be the best mouse only player. You're not. Like, just full stop. You're just not going to be the best. Um, and I kind of feel like it's the same with tablet. There's just a lot more tablet players. Um, Someone's going to beat Marek eventually, whether it be because he falls off from not playing or because someone genuinely just becomes better than him in a shorter period of time. Someone's going to beat Marek. So I don't think it's obviously that kind of thing won't happen in a year of someone playing Osu. It'll take time. It always does. Um, but it'll happen.
Or as BTMC put it, the moment Emmerich finds out about girls, there will be someone taking number one from him, since he
Oh yeah,
will be busy.
yeah, for sure. I mean, that's how Osu works. That's why the community is so young in general,
Yeah,
because Osu is really easy is a really easy time waste for after school or something like that. But once you have like adult responsibilities, it's a lot of effort to like your time is a lot more valuable. So throwing it into something as time absorbing as Osu, it just older folk don't play it as much.
yeah. I've been noticing that a lot since I've been going to uni for about a year now, and I've been playing so much less Osu. I'm still
Yeah.
grinding, I'm still having fun, but it's much less than back when I was just going to school, and the only thing stopping me from playing Osu all day were either other games or like just doing stuff with friends.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that might be a huge reason. A lot of people like to blame it on um, it's easier to learn when you're younger and genetics and stuff, but I think free time might probably be the bigger issue with this. Or not issue, but like the bigger reason why it's this way.
Y- yeah. I mean, I don't think younger being a thing is really as big of a deal because there have been players that were like 20 that do just as well as players that were like 13. I think it does come down more to free time because just straight up, 13-year-olds have way more playtime than 20-year-olds do, or
Yeah,
time to play, unless like you're unemployed. But if you're unemployed, you probably don't have the funds to play Osu. I don't know. Genetics is a bit of a touchy, not touchy, but like gray area because obviously, you know, when you take Olympic runners, for example, genetics make a big difference. But it's not the end of the world. You can be the most genetically gifted person in the world and you can be outdone by someone who works hard. Um I think Osu is a little easier to be a hard worker and get higher even if your genetic ability isn't very high. Um it just takes a lot of effort, a lot more effort if you're I guess you don't get the genetic lottery, but um I don't know.
Yeah, look at a player like Silver 15 with like six, almost 7,000 hours. He's still 3 digit. He probably didn't improve as fast as other people. He just
Yeah, but
grinded
with
the heck out of this game.
yeah, well with Silver, I mean, take a look at his top ranks, but what does he play?
Yeah, he also plays skill sets that are not really, that don't really reward PP. And
Right.
he's pretty all-rounded. He can play so much stuff.
I was gonna say if you take someone like Marek, he grinds and grinds and grinds the meta.
Yeah,
If you want to be one of the top players, unfortunately, you have to grind the meta. Um, to be to be a 3 digit with completely non-meta type skill, like that's extremely impressive in my opinion. Like take G minus GN for example. Like he's probably one of the best players in the world, and I don't even know if he's 3 digit.
no, he's ranked 2,300.
Yeah, he just has an immense amount of skill that does not get rewarded in like any capacity when it comes to PP.
Yeah,
So
they are just
it's just
players like these.
yeah.
Okay. Uh, Keeping track of questions was easier when Cream Power was still here, because then I could just ask, Cream Power, do you have any question you want to ask? And then he was just asking something, and meanwhile I could look at the questions, planning my next moves. Mm. Oh, this question is interesting, because I didn't put this for the other two players. Do you think you will ever make a comeback to Ursa Standard?
um, n- you're not gonna like my answer.
I mean, I don't care what you answer. I'm not a Solar fanboy. I'm too young to be a Solar fanboy. I didn't know you when you were at your peak.
Yeah.
Also,
I think
I know that other stuff's getting in the way, and you don't have to enjoy a game.
well, I think my time is kind of up from a competitive standpoint. I could come back if I really wanted to. But I just, I'm okay with not. Like I said, I I think I've held the longest record for PP, at least in PPV2, for mouse only players with honesty. That was like 3 years. As far as I'm aware, no one's had a record for longer. Like I still have something that's like even if someone were to
Unique to you.
yeah, but even if someone were to have a record longer than me, like okay, I lost out on it. It's not that big of a deal. I still have in my pin scores, I have like my most valuable like achievements to myself. Um,
Oh, what's that Mayday score? If you like do the egg conversion thingy, they
I have
have.
no idea.
Actually, let me check. Um, they included it somewhere here. Best performance. Okay, divide your egg by fifth. Okay, I'm doing the calculations right now. I'm dividing your egg divided by. That's the wrong one. That's a 99.5. If you do the egg conversion they're talking about. Yeah, then that's a cool score too.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Um,
Yeah. So pr- probably no Solar comeback for all the Solar fans out there.
yeah, I mean, I still play Taiko from time to time. I'm no longer participating in tournaments, but I still am pretty active in the Taiko community. Um, so I'm not gone or nothing, but um, I Osu standard just doesn't really appeal to me anymore.
Yeah, that's totally fair. You've been playing since 2015 anyway, so that's 9
Yeah.
years. Are you still playing Ursa Standard like casually offline from time to time?
Uh, Occasionally. I mean, I play maybe like once every 2 or 3 months, and I almost always play Click X
Oh,
because I don't have the stamina anymore to really play what I want to mouse only. So yeah,
but you're still playing stream maps then?
yeah. I mean, that's what I like. I like those.
Those long songs with the drums in the background.
Yeah, rock songs, metal songs, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you already covered the question about what scores I have are probably your favorite. I can just look at the pin and the scores you just mentioned that are also
There
in your
are.
top score.
Well,
Are
you
there
say what scores are my favorite? Like from me?
from me? The next question is about top scores from your favorite scores from other mouse only players.
Oh, well, I'll say real quick. As far as my scores go, I do have some scores that aren't pinned because they're actually like gone, either on unranked maps or um, just in general. I have a couple of scores. A Hard Rock score on A Kiss for a Flower, which was
Oh,
crazy. Um, but
uh,
that map's unranked, so
no,
it
it's
doesn't.
loved now, I
Oh, well,
believe.
it wasn't loved when I played it.
Oh, I think you have to show explicit content. Yeah, it's loved now. Not the one with the background video that you have to like download yourself, but the map itself is loved now.
Interesting.
I almost FC'd this within the other day. I don't know how, but I almost did. But
Yeah,
that's a really cool. Oh, I like this map.
yeah. That map is really really fun.
For
There's
graveyard to loot for ranked, maybe. Turned out to be loved.
as far as other mouse only scores go. Um, I mean, Rogo's Asymmetry SS is really good. Um, of course, Reviklia's Galaxy Collapse plays. That's what got me into Osu, or into mouse only. I mean, um, I think Spread Nuts Senkyo Ranbu play is really really dope. Um, Trying to think. FF Star has a bunch of crazy like FF Star's Notch Hell play. I'm pretty sure is yeah, ridiculous if I remember correctly. Let me look that up real quick. I don't know if he ever pinned it.
I don't.
It's not. It's Notch Hell ranked.
Uh, I think it's either ranked or loved. I think it's ranked.
That's ranked. Let's see friend rankings. I'm on Tycho. That is not what I'm looking for. Oh wow. I mean, his play has been outdone since, but yeah, I remember watching him
Oh,
hit that
yeah, he has some live plays. I don't know whether they are mass only though. At least the one showing on the profile.
for FF Star. I don't
Oh
think he ever
yeah,
switched.
There, there's a live play for. Actually, let me switch up the stream thingy
Yeah.
again.
I'm a big FF Star fan. I
I
think
didn't
one of
didn't
the
even know that
most
name.
impressive mouse only plays is Melodia's Hydra Heteromycin one finger pass as well.
Oh, I did not know this was a player that existed.
FF Star was kind of doorknob before doorknob. He was
Doorknob,
extremely good at those really techie maps.
Doorknob, but in 2015,
Yeah.
9 years ago. This skin is so ancient. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Cool dude.
Okay, hmm. Are there any questions you still want to go into that I have written down?
Oh, let me look at them real quick.
Because my brain is slowly but surely turning off.
Yeah, no, I get
I've
it.
been doing a lot today.
Yeah, that's fair. And I've been kind of rambling on a little bit more than
That's fine though.
people probably care to watch.
I mean, I believe Raw is still watching, maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, I think Tony's also in the chat.
I will I will mention this about tournaments because you have a couple
Oh,
tournament questions here.
yeah.
Um, and I was a really big tournament player, or still, I guess I still am, just in Taiko. Um, the thing with tournaments is I have a really like terrible mentality when it comes to tournaments, ironically, which is I usually put like 50 to 100 local plays on the maps that I'm supposed to play for a match. Like I just grind them to ridiculous levels. That's obviously not for everybody, but the main thing that I can tell you with tournaments is to like have fun with them. If you take them too seriously, like I know a lot of people want a badge. Um Honestly, the more important thing is how much fun you have in the tournament itself. I can tell you that 100%. The tournament the most of the tournaments that I had the most fun in were not badged, with the exception of IGTS. IGTS was like crazy fun. But like haven't, even if we lost IGTS, that still would have been my favorite tournament experience. Um we just, meshing with the team, having fun. We created custom of covers of songs that were sang terribly. Like, just have fun
Oh,
with it. It's there's really like tournaments are a good way to test skill,
and
but
also push skill to some extent.
oh
I
yeah, hundred
I
percent.
know that for last MCS I was going wild for the time I was really playing the game much.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this one last thing about tournaments and map pools in particular. If you want to get better at a certain skill set, go find every tournament you possibly can. Even old ones. Get their map pools, download those map pools, play that tournament slot pick. Because 99% of tournament pools follow a convention, like Hard Rock 2, that's going to be CS 6.5 or higher. HD2, that's going to be AR8 type stuff. There's obviously going to be duplicates, but that is a really, really good way to find a specific skill set, especially if you want to grind one. That is 100% the way to go about it. Because typing in tech or streams
It
into the
doesn't
search
work.
bar, it just, you're not going to get nearly as many things.
I
So,
mean, Peppy was announcing that they might add a feature where they have tags for the type of map you're playing, so that you could like search old map with like jumps or something, and you would actually get similar maps. that there would
Yes,
be a tag system. That would be
you
pretty helpful
that would be
in the
nice.
future.
That's also incumbent on the mappers themselves to tag their maps,
um,
which
he
you can
he said
actually
it's
do that
gonna.
already.
He said it's not gonna be dependent on the mappers, but more like that the community is gonna do it. Or I don't know
Oh,
how he thinks of the system to work, but maybe like that there are some team
hmm.
of moderators or something that look through it.
Well, I mean, if it's ranked, I can see that, but
Yeah, not for unranked map
there's
for sure.
well, unranked maps are where the majority of tournament maps come from.
Yeah, that's fair. There's
Well,
also a tool called Beatmap, Batch Beatmap Downloader, where you can literally search for um, types of maps. Like you can search for no mod free, and it will just spit out. Oh, I believe it's pulling the data from all tournament pools as well, and then you can
yeah,
just have a collection with it. That's also very helpful in case
yeah,
you didn't know about it, or somebody watching didn't know about that. But yeah, that's probably good advice to seek out old tournaments and look at their pools.
yeah. Especially if you're preparing for tournaments as a player, that's the best advice I can give you. But even if you just want to improve a certain skill set in your normal day-to-day play, it's a really good way to do it. So,
Yeah, okay. Um, let me
I know
read through
you're.
the questions one more time.
Yeah.
I think you already said something about improvement in general and mindset and having fun with game. Um, we talked about
Yeah.
this and that. I think we are mostly done with most of the stuff.
I think
Uh,
we probably went a little bit more general than just mouse only stuff, but yeah.
yeah.
Um,
You seem to be not overthinking mouse only as a playstyle, so it's kind of not that like Sharpus thinks a lot about the playstyle, and so does Young Venus. So they had a lot more stuff, specific stuff to tell me about their grip and about their approach to clicking and whatnot. But
I
that's totally fine.
I may have had more to say on the playstyle itself if
And the
this interview was
community
done
and
6 years ago.
oh
But
yeah, but it's totally fine.
yeah, I think I kind of have the old man wise perspective type. Not to call myself wise, but you know what I mean, like just like the outside angle.
I mean, in the question sheet, there was a reason why I put a header with Solar as a boomer.
Yeah.
um, but I have two more questions that I don't know what I asked it to both of them. The first question being, do you think Nerdov or anyone in the mouse only community will be able to dev stream like 300 BPM sometime in the future, or do you think
Um,
that that might not happen?
I mean, really it's possible. Like it's not a matter of whether or not it can be done, it's a whether or not the community stays relevant long enough for the limits to be pushed that far. You know, if Osu
Yeah,
dies out in the next couple years, the mouse only community is going to die out and no one will make it to that point. But if the mouse only community continues to grow, eventually someone's going to do it,
you'll
whether
just
it be Nerd Off or someone new who comes to the scene.
especially with 300 BPM. Even when you look at the keyboard players that are playing that BPM range right now, like Cypher has been playing speed for 5 years now or something. It just takes 5 years of active grinding to reach that level. So yeah, no, I also think that there isn't really a hard um, cap that there is to stream speed, but we just need somebody like Nerdov to keep grinding it and not get RSI.
Yeah. Well, I will say I don't believe in a hard cap. I believe in a soft cap. I think there's a point at which, realistically speaking, no one's going to really get better than it. But I think it'll infinitely get edged out, smaller and smaller.
Yeah, it's like one of these curves that just flatten out. I mean, if
Yeah,
if
it's
if 400
asymptotal, but
if 400 BPM is possible, you can't tell me that 402 is not possible, you know?
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But of course, you're gonna have, you're never gonna have someone who's gonna go from 400 to 500.
No.
But you may edge up, 1 BPM every new player that comes around. It's hard to say.
Yeah. And the other question is, do you think in 2024 there will be anyone surpassing Kemei, our current number one player in the community?
Uh, I honestly don't know where everyone stands right now. I haven't really paid attention. Um, I mean, I'm assuming Tony's still pretty close. If he grinds, I think he could.
Tony is like 100 ranks away or something, or like 150.
Mm. I mean, like it really just depends on who has the what do you call it? Like not the willpower, but I guess the willpower, the
Who wants
motivation.
the motivation to put in the time?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, do I think Kamei is unsurpassable? Absolutely not. Do I think that Kamei, like, it would take a lot of effort and grinding? Yeah, that's just the nature of the thing. You could have, you know, not that not that Spread Nuts would do this, but you could have someone like Spread Nuts just come in and all of a sudden gain like 500 ranks in a month and a half. Like it's happened before. I've seen players just take off into the stratosphere. Um, so it's not unrealistic. I mean, but as far as I'm aware, no one's really been challenging Kamei, so I don't know, maybe probably not.
I think Kemei will stay for at least a year, especially if rate change is gonna be ranked in laser, like the 2x speed, the real double time and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you really seem you probably don't catch up with all of the stuff since
Not
you're not that
not really.
interested in standard anymore.
No. I mean, I keep up with cool plays that players do, especially um I say like on the lower end. Um I really like seeing new players come up. Um, you know, obviously the best players like Showerpiss, Kame, Tony, Spread Nuts, like Doorknob. Like it's awesome to see the cool stuff that they hit, but I do really enjoy seeing, you know, other players that haven't been playing as long or they're kind of up and coming. I like seeing them do pop off and do cool things too. It's really I don't know what the word is, but like I don't know, it's cool to see new members come up and be improving.
For sure.
So,
Yeah. I think if there aren't any more questions from the 4 viewers or like 3 viewers or like 2 viewers we have, I think that's that's gonna mostly wrap it up because
alrighty.
my my head is done for today.
Yeah, man. Go get some
I
rest.
I'm not really. I need to do my math assignments for tomorrow.
Oh no. Well,
I
consume energy drink and then complete assignment and then
I don't
get
have to do
rest.
them today though. I can do them tomorrow technically, but doing some of it today would be pretty chill. But it's
Yeah.
not that late. It's only 9 p.m. for me right now. That's totally fine. But yeah,
Okay. Well,
um,
thanks for having me.
thanks for the interview. And thanks for ranting a bit about the the old times. It's always nice hearing old people talk.
Old people.
What age
Oh
are you
man.
again?
I am 23.
Oh well, wow. That's a bit older than I expected actually. But it's not very old because you're like the age of my brother.
I
Hello,
mean,
hello,
I
Zayzoxu.
I started OSU when I was 14, so
Oh damn.
same as most other people.
Yeah. Zayzoxu, do you have a question for Mr. Eclipse?
Oh, Say joined?
Yeah. Right at the end. Is there anything? 23 is old for an average OSU player, so.
I don't. I mean, I'm not an OSU player really anymore. I don't play. So whoever said that, your point is
Ro. Ru or Ra. I don't know how to pronounce Ro's name.
Ro. Yeah.
Ro.
I have a question for you.
Ooh.
Um, how do you pronounce bird? Is it Vogel or Vogel?
Vogel.
Vogel.
Vogel. Yeah.
Vogel. They're
Rook.
Vogel.
Ru. K. Rook? Rook KH?
Ook.
Rook?
Ook.
Okay. I'm learning something about name pronunciations. I was so confused when Ike turned to be out being pronounced like Ake and not Ike. That was such a confusing moment in my career as an OSU commentator. Hard H as hard. Rook. Rook? Just Rook? You just have to whip out the Google language speaking thingy.
Der, der Backpfeifen gesiegt.
Not K, just Ru. Just Ru. Okay. Oh yeah, we asked Showerpiss about the name origin, and now we're gonna ask you about the name origin, I guess. I think you
Oh man.
already told that in some chat before.
It, yeah. I mean, my name comes from a couple of different, like, basically, my original name was Lettuce Tomato Bacon Man, um, LTBMAN, and I was like, everyone kept calling me Lieutenant Batman. I was like, that's not my name. So I changed it, and basically, I went through a bunch of different name changes, but I effectively settled on Solasi, Solasi,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It just no one, everyone kept calling me Sola instead of Solasi, and so it just kind of got shortened to Sola, and then I used that a lot, and then most usernames that you have to punch into like a an internet account or something like that, you have to use 8 characters or more. So I just tagged Eclipse onto the end of it.
Makes sense. And I think
Yeah.
I've heard that story in chat before,
The
or at least some parts of it.
the other name that I was debating between taking seriously was Zaloco, which is spelled like local. My God, I can't type Zaloco.
Ooh. Okay, I think Ru is fine for you guys. Should it be Ra? Like, is it
Like
Ra?
Ruha,
Ra correctly?
Ruha,
Or like Ruha? Ruha?
Ruh,
Probably like Ra.
Ruh, Ruh.
Like Ra.
I don't know.
Bruh.
Ruh,
That's horrible.
Ruh.
No. No. Bruh. Ra? Without
Ruh,
the H?
Ruh. Oh, so he's saying hard H, like like you say huh at the end, like
Huh.
bruh, huh,
Bruh.
ruh,
Bruh.
ruh, ruh. Interesting. Okay.
Ra? Ra?
We're learning more about Ruz than.
Ra. So it really is like a Ra, but like Ra. That's okay. That's wild. My German tongue doesn't want to speak like that, doing, speaking, talking. It's transliterated from. Oh wait, is Ra a Russian player? No, wait, no, never mind. It's Kazakhstan. Okay.
Jan, I'm gonna need you to teach me German.
What should I teach you? Or like the whole language?
The whole language, no. Just how to like pronounce it better. Cause like I can read it, but I can't say the words properly.
Feel free to hit me up anytime.
Word. I'll take
Oh,
you up on that.
wait, look at Ra's playtime. It's 55 days, 15. Oh, I am streaming this part right now. 55 days, 15 hours, and 55 minutes. Like 40 more
Oh,
hours, and it's gonna look clean. Actually, it's not gonna wrap around like that.
nice.
Oh yeah, we also forgot to ask you what your favorite mouse only players are. But I think you mentioned so many players throughout the whole interview that that's not
Um,
really necessary, I think.
favorite mouse only players.
If you want to shout out shout out some more that you haven't yet shouted out or want to shout out twice.
I mean, are we talking about like favorite from like their good perspective or favorite from like people? Because my
Um
favorite mouse only player is probably Coco because we're like best friends.
that's fine too.
But from like a I like watching them play perspective, um I was always I mean, who doesn't like watching Gassan? Like it's so satisfying watching him play. I love watching Ruyo play. Um Pianta, of course, Reviclia was always fun to watch. And yeah. What about Biko? Biko's not mouse only, but
It's
if we're
Click
talking
X,
about my
right?
favorite
Wait,
if we're talking
no.
about my favorite non-mouse only players, Biko's number one.
Biko switched playstats a lot, right? Wasn't he
No,
touchscreen
he,
at some
he
time
didn't
too?
he didn't switch a lot per se. So he was mouse only for a while, and then he went to touchscreen, and then he became tablet keyboard.
Oh.
99% of his plays that anyone like 99% of the plays that anyone other than me is aware of are probably tablet plays. Most of his flashlight scores are mouse only. Like his old flashlight scores. He still did flashlight when he was tablet though. Um, oh, he literally has the playstyle history written out.
Oh,
um,
I'm stupid. Mouse only into touchscreen. Yeah, touchscreen. I was saying that, and then tablet keyboard.
yeah.
Current
Um,
status busy. Skin unavailable for now. Spoilers.
but
Harmful
yeah.
spoilers.
So aside from Biko, my favorite non-mouse only players would definitely be Wubwolf Wolf. Of course, he's like my favorite aside like my favorite non-best player. If that makes sense. Obviously, Wubwolf Wolf's one of the best in the world, but like, yeah,
Oh.
big fan of Yang, Biko, Wubwolf Wolf, Happy Stick, and it's Wub Woof Wolf.
Wop
The middle word.
wop woof. Oh, ha! Got it first try. Gonna add him too.
Yeah,
Yeah, crazy player. Crazy playtime.
but
What do you think about my favorite current player, Osu 420?
Osu 420. I don't know who that is.
um, just look at most. Actually, don't look at the most recent plays. Look at his play count history: 9,000, 6,000, 7,000, 7,000, 9,000. He just presses F2, picks a random mod combo, plays the map, repeats, and he has like 5,000 hours and a
Hmm.
rank on so many maps. We
I
don't
mean, if
know
he
what this
enjoys
guy's
it.
we don't know what this guy's doing, but this guy had like 248 hour streams in the past 1 month or something.
Hmm.
It's a very mysterious player because we haven't heard them talk at all. They just grind the game and stream it now. It's very funny.
Interesting.
Like
I see.
people were thinking they were botting, but then they just started live streaming everything. it's, so it can't be a bot since there's actually a human with a camera with a webcam playing the game. It's just like bro, bro's like stuck in a separate dimension or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, actually, Seisaku, I think I added everyone that took the survey. Also, Solar, when are you gonna mutual me?
Oh, I I never think about, like, unless someone messages me about it, I
Yeah,
never
I
think
mean me
about adding
neither.
them.
I am your 420th friend, which is cool.
Interesting.
Okay. Uh, anything still from chat? Otherwise, I'm. I'm it's also 420. Can I be your also 420?
I guess.
Yeah. Um. Seems to be nothing from chat, so I'm gonna be pressing the funny button very soon, and we're gonna wrap up. Thank you again, Sola, for being here for the interview. It was very
Yeah, for
fun.
sure.
Um, and yeah, that's it with the interviews for today. Hopefully, we can get something with Nerdov and potentially even Doorknob next week. That could be cool. And aside from that, thank you for sticking around, people that were watching. This time, Solar, you had the most viewers out of the bunch.
Awesome.
You actually
What, like
pulled in
three?
viewers. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully I said something that is at least somewhat valuable
I
for
I don't know
those.
whether I can include anything in the FAQ video. Maybe something. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'll make it work. Kime and me will make it work.
sounds good.
Goodbye.
Alrighty.